Hello. Welcome to Above and Beyond Cancer's Healing Yoga. Today we will do a little bit more of our repetitive breathing techniques as well as working with our own energy and moving and stretching. So as we just find our comfortable seated position, whether it be on a chair, it may be on your mat, you might want to stand as you drop into your breath, starting with that in the nose and out the mouth. Hello and welcome. Just started a moment ago. Breathing in the nose and out the mouth. Challenge yourselves to make that one half of the breath cycle, so that inhale, maybe count to 4. And if that doesn't work, count to 3, or maybe your number is 5. Either way, draw it in for a count and exhale for the same count. Many times when we're breathing, just sitting there, of course, not thinking about our breath, it becomes very shallow. So what we want to work on here is deepening the breath to give us more oxygen and let us release more of that stagnant carbon dioxide out of our bodies. So continuing to just sit or stand and breathe. In the nose, out the mouth. The feet can be flat on the floor, or you may choose to have the ankles crossed at this time. Notice the rise and the fall of the belly as you breathe. And maybe just work with that. So diaphragm, as it comes in and we exhale fully. As we take that deep breath of the inhale, the belly expands. Exhale. It's kind of like a bellows, if you will. So of course it comes in through the nose, down into the chest, of course, from the lungs, where that breath originates. We expand through our rib cage and through the belly. We inhale, so then we just reverse that process to exhale. Many times the breath is taken for granted as we just do it without thinking. It's just a response that is involuntary. But making it a conscious effort to work with the breath can bring a more easeful feeling and experience to us. So continuing with that breath in the nose and out the mouth. It takes about 6 focused breaths to center yourselves, to get grounded, maybe even to calm sometimes if we're experiencing some high anxiety. So I would invite you at any time that you're feeling anxious or fearful to sit with your breath before making any rash decision. Let's move to our collarbones with our fingertips and thumb, or just the pads, and begin to massage. And notice what you feel, if anything. If you've been doing this pretty regularly, Your soreness, any soreness, may have dissipated by now. But that doesn't mean that sometimes it doesn't pop back up. We're moving the lymph and we're getting our energies moving forward. Continue with that breath in the nose, out the mouth, and shake it off. Move to your sternum, thymus. Remember, this is like that shot of vitamin C. Populating those killer T cells. Very important. Doing just this technique daily is helpful. Shake off the fingers. And then move to your side seams, just beneath the breasts on either side, right at the rib cage. Again, these points may be a little sore, spleen points. Spleen is in charge of a good part of our immune system, but digestion and assimilation of our food and thoughts and experiences. Shake that off. Take a deep breath, flick fingers, move to the cheekbones for our grounding technique. This is the beginning point of our stomach meridian. If you're ever feeling kind of up in the clouds, you can tap here and give you a little better sense of your groundedness. Shake that off. Welcome. Continue breathing in the nose and out the mouth. 2 more deep breaths. Now, those of you that have joined before know that we start with this same side, or homolateral, and then we dust off and we cross over. There are different ways and techniques we can do this crossover pattern. Of course, this is one of them. We can march the knee up. We can bring shoulder to hip, slicing across. And we've done these techniques. And then I'm going to add one more in. This can be challenging. If you have a chair, you can hold on with one hand and reach to the opposite heel and back. It's a balance and a brain gym movement. So I will turn around so you can see what I'm doing here, crossing it over from that back side. That is an option. So we'll finish up here. Just like to show you different things. Different techniques resonate differently with all of us. So let's hover over the pubic bone. Set your intention, sealing your energy and protecting it from negative energies that are out and about. Always sealing. One more time. And lastly, our hookup. Building confidence, setting the energetic spine, and cleansing our auric field. That field in which surrounds us, but we don't necessarily see. Shake that off. Now, either standing or sitting, heaven connecting earth, just resting my hands on the thighs. You can continue with the breath in the nose, out the mouth, or the breath in the nose, out the nose, or whatever your natural breath is. I just invite you to focus on the depth of your breath. The inhale, maybe a 4 count, and the exhale, perhaps a 4 count. So with the hands on our thighs, slide them up. Be here. If you're seated in the chair, this is your position. If you're standing, maybe you're sitting back in that chair. And rising up to that side stretch. Heaven connecting earth. Releasing any stagnant energy, creating space for new energy to flow. One more round. Just remember the power you have in your own hands, in your own body, to do many of the things to help keep our energies balanced and humming. Remember, balance does not mean equal. Balance is in a constant state of movement. So the more we strive for balance, the more we get there, the easier it is to bring our bodies back into balance. So as we sit here, sit up tall or stand up tall, let's open the arms, the top, welcome in, heaven rushing in. So gentle back bend. We're pulling that belly button in and up and breathing. Standing or seated, weaving the arms and coming in to fold over the legs or from our standing. Breathe here. Soften knees as necessary. Let's inhale and draw the shoulders back from standing or seated. Sink in a little more deeply. And then weave. Remember that weave, that figure eight pattern, that Celtic weave helps to cleanse our own space. Bringing that down. And let's bring our hands to our sides, doing some neck stretches, drawing shoulders from our ears. Take fingers to one side of the head. You're seated in a chair. Bring your hand to the bottom of that chair and just draw the head down. Maybe turning it side to side, perhaps having the hand on the shoulder versus the head. Maybe gently nodding up and down. And breathing, always focusing on the breath. Once we get used to that breath focus, it becomes automatic that we lengthen our breath and strengthen it as well. Come back to center. Other side. Breathe. Notice. Soften the shoulder down. And come back to center. Roll our shoulders up, back, and down. Drop chin to the chest. Shoulders back and down. Inhale, taking the head back. Scooping out like a pelican, scooping up fish, toning the throat and neck muscles. And coming back to center. Let's extend our arms out. If this is not comfortable, it is a little challenging, but you can have them down to your sides a little bit. We're going to do 10 circles forward. Breathing all the while. And after 10 forward, let's go in reverse. Focusing on the breath, focusing on the movement of the arms. After 10 in reverse, let's give ourselves a big hug. And exhale. Fall forward. Reaching one forearm down. Let's do a gentle twist and reach the arm up. Palm toward the heavenlies and circle the wrist. Breathe. Switch the direction. And then weave that arm down. Take that forearm to the other side. Reach. Palm flat and circle. Switch the direction. Weave down. Sweep the hands back. Now, if you reach back and the back of the chair gets in your way, maybe stand up, drawing the palms toward each other. And let's soften our knees a little bit here. Notice shoulder girdle, hinge forward. Breathe. Bend the knees into a high chair. Reach up. And then sweep the arms forward. Now this can be done standing or in the chair. If we're in the chair, just sweep the arms forward. Welcome. And up. Come to seated and then come back up. Or you can remain seated, moving the arms and the torso. Let's do a couple more rounds here. Should be feeling this in the arms by now. And then bring the hands to heart center. Deep breath in, breathing deeply in the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the mouth. Cross over, the arm behind, into just a little deeper stretch or deeper twist here. So we sit up tall. Unwind and take that to the other side. I just let my one arm hang behind and bring this arm over, taking me into that supported seated twist. Center. Now, if you have a strap, if you don't, that's okay. Strap, sash, something. Or not, you can just hold the leg behind the thigh or at the calf, but just not at the knee joint. It would enhance this pose to have some sort of strap to extend one leg, holding it on here. And if you just have a sash or something with two ends to it, you just hold on to those. Sit up tall. Notice where you feel that deep stretch. And begin to open. And come center. Open and center. Sitting up tall, notice the work that's going on through your leg and through your core. And then bend and lengthen. Bend and lengthen. Breath flowing all the while. time. Now a little bit of a challenge. Open to the side, open other arm out. This foot is flexed and we're breathing, sitting up tall. If you want a little bit more work, you can lift that opposite leg and breathe. Slowly releasing and just move to the other side. Find that fairly straight leg. Don't lock out the knee. Just the soft knee. And we're moving side to side. Feel that in the hip. And then bend and lengthen. Bend and lengthen. Notice what you're feeling here. Bend and lengthen. And from here, we'll open. Perhaps open the opposite arm. If you want a little more work, you can lift that leg up or just keep that grounded. Or alternate. Bending that down. Holding the strap with the arms either overhead or out front. Slowly lifting, seeing how high we can lift this. Breathing, and you can take the arms just as wide as necessary, bringing it back, lifting through the heart center. Find that opening in through your pectorals, right in through here, through that shoulder girdle. You may be here, and that's okay. Let's do some seated cat and cow while we hold this strap. Scooping through the belly, exhaling out into that cat. Inhaling to that back bend. This time, holding the arms up, drawing them back to your comfort level, and then coming to the side. Feet are anchored into the mat or whatever the surface is beneath your feet. Other side here. Come back center, put a hinge forward this time. Fold over the legs, reach. Hold the arms out if available. Inhale, come back up. Work on the arms a little bit here. And then let's just put this to the side for now. We may pick that back up. Either on your mat or your chair. Let's come into a downward facing dog, whether it be with the hands here and walk the feet back. You can be in that modified or dolphin pose and come back here. This pose, you're going to get a better stretch on your hamstrings and calves. Also get a nice stretch in through the tricep area, shoulders and chest. Breathe. This can also be done on the mat. Notice the pattern of your breathing. Is it smooth? Is it a little jagged? Just noticing. Come forward. Now, if this is available, to come here kind of in a static plank where the wrists are below shoulders, holding this position and breathing. This can also be done up against a wall. Of course, it doesn't have as much weight bearing, but it's a lot easier on the wrists. And let's come back. Come in to the side. Now you've got this toe down as a kickstand. Kind of lift top arm here and maybe lift the leg out to the side and down. Breathing all the while. We'll do 3 more on this side. Let's come back in to that standing supported plank. You pull back and taking it to the other side. So stacked wrists below the shoulders. To the side and lift. Running into furniture here. Lift and lift the arm. Got the support of the chair. And this leg does not have to lift. You can keep that arm lifted. It's an opening side stretch. You might just anchor the toe there. One more time. Find the technique that works best for you and work with that. And then come back. Maybe place the forearms down, or again the full arms. Breathe. From here, after a couple more breaths, we'll move into our spinal balance. Options here, the forearm down. Extend that leg and the opposite arm. Or the full arm. Extend that leg. Now when we stack our joints, wrist below shoulder, you can substitute fists for wrists. That's only as long as the joints are stacked. In a position like downward facing dog, they are not supported, so that does not apply for that. So we're switching sides. Breathe. And again. Switch. And back. Switch. And back. bringing the forearms down or the full arm and resting in your downward facing dog. Deep breaths. Soften the knees. Slowly come up to stand. Let's do a counter pose. Heaven rushing in. Back bend, draw belly button in and up. Opening the arms, ready to receive whatever it may be that we're needing at this moment. Gather that in. Breathe. Know that you are loved. You are nurtured. You are enough. Breathe it in. Shake off the hands. Now we'll do a technique called the penetrating flow. Bring our hands just directly behind the belly button. So just place hand over hand on the back side. Soften knees if possible and begin to do circles in one direction. And then reverse that direction. Sweeping the hands forward, back and forth from palm to back of the hands. And then zip up the front line, cup over the mouth, 3 audible. And then rest your hands, wrists crossed over the chest. Let's zip up the front line, sweep it out. Hook up once again. And either doing standing of the schoolyard hookup, unscrambling our energies, or seated. So standing, just cross the ankles and cross the hands here. If this is just kind of an awkward position, you can just cross the hands like this, bring them together, take 3 to 5 breaths. Or seated here. Cross one leg over. The hand that automatically goes to the ankle. Same side hand as the leg is crossed comes to the ball of the foot. And we breathe here. Notice this is a crossing over pattern. It's also a good stretch. So we'll go to side 2. If you're standing, you'll just switch the cross of the hands and the feet. And seated, again, we'll switch the cross of the ankle, sitting up tall. Same hand as leg is crossed, goes over the balls of the feet. And breathe. Release. We're going to work more on opening the hips a little bit more. So let's go ahead and with that first side, cross that ankle over. Flexing through the foot helps protect that ankle and knee. As we sit up tall, think of the belly button. We're leading there as we hinge forward. We may not come very far at all, but you're going to feel that deep glute stretch, hip opening. We're breathing here. Think about some of those sounds that, if you've taken this class before, we've practiced. The the release of any anxiety or any fearfulness. WHOOO. Or anger. Or perhaps grief. Coming back, and let's switch sides. Again, incorporating any of those sounds in your exhale. You're breathing here. Draw belly button in and up. Lead with the navel as we come forward. Bringing in courage. Turning that into the confidence we need to bring in joy and inspiration. Releasing worry to self-love and our grief into acceptance and letting go. Like the leaves of the autumn trees. The tree does not cling to her leaves, but releases them to be composted into the earth, to be rebirthed in spring. Coming back up here. Work with this just a little bit more using our strap. So let's take side one. Maybe loop around the bottom foot and bringing that up, sitting up tall, finding that extension through the leg. Maybe walking the hands down the strap. Static position here. And release. Switch. Out. Doing what we can, what is available to us just for today. No judgment or expectations. And release. Placing this strap off to the side now. And Actually, for one more thing, we're doing a modified boat pose, working our abdominals here. So this can be done on a chair or on your mat. Just got the strap behind the thighs, not behind the knee crease. So we're drawing that belly button in and up. I can't say that enough. We want to keep the abdominals engaged and protect the low back. So we're going to kind of lean back like an inclined plane and hold up here, doing what we can. This is a little bit of an awkward position on a chair, drawing up as much as we can. You probably do feel this in your abdominals. If you're feeling it in your low back, come forward a little bit and just pull up on the backs of the legs. And if you're on your mat, you'll notice that you're working your abs just a little bit further. Come down. Let's just hinge forward over the butt, over the tops of the legs. Place this off to the side. Bring the legs forward from this chair or from your standing. We'll do our sunflowers. Sunflowers is reaching overhead, sweeping down, crossing the arms. Back up. If we're standing, you can step the feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. Sweep the arms overhead. Hinge the body right at the hips and legs. And come down. Softening knees as necessary here. If you don't like to come over that far, soften the knees and be here. Just come down and back up. We'll do one more. Palms together, hands to heart center, and then down to our sides. Seated once again, crossing one leg over the other, however that's available to you. Taking the opposite arm, we're going to come into a little deeper twist here. Sweep that arm back, sit up tall. Again, we're never pulling on any of our joints. So you might hold just above the knee or below the knee. Breathe. And unwind to open. Center, cross over, other side. In the hand here, let that other arm come behind at the back of the chair and breathe. Notice as you sit up tall, there's a little bit more work involved. Maintaining that spine, posture. And then opening the twist. And coming back center. Now, my favorite pose, not everybody's favorite, but it's so beneficial to all of us throughout our lives. We all start doing it when we're kids, babies, even when we first learn to walk, and throughout early childhood for sure. It is the squat. The squat is going to help you with your digestion, constitution, your spine. And I know not everybody can just pop a squat, so doing what we can. There's always the passive, lying on our backside with our knees to chest. That is a squat. That is an excellent way to start practicing that pose. Every day, I invite you to challenge yourselves to do that. Otherwise, you can be here on the chair, take the feet out wide, sit back to where you can, and come up. You can also have like a stack of books or something that is solid or sturdy that you can sit down in that's lower than a chair, because our bodies really weren't designed to sit in chairs. You notice many people from other countries, third world countries, this is how they sit for hours. This is how they do childbirth. So it's not like it's something new. Our bodies are designed for this. But throughout life, we sit in chairs so many times. You often hear now that sitting is the new smoking. It kind of is. So we have to be mindful of that in how we sit. Breathing here, doing what we can, coming back up. Let's lift the palms, gather this energy, and place it in our heart center. Either lying on our mats or seated on our chair for the next minute or so. Let's go ahead and think about our breath. Again, that deep inhale, 4 count, and that full exhale, 4 count, whatever your count is. Think about any of those sounds or any of your own sounds that kind of make you feel a little bit more of a release as you exhale. Kind of like a sigh. Is it? Just play around with it. So this will be our final relaxation today, our Shavasana, whether it be in your chair or on the mat. Drop in. Notice. Slowly flutter the eyelids. Placing our hands on our lap. Let's move through a few more rounds of cat and cow. This is a great stretch anytime, standing, seated, lying down. Breathe. Giving ourselves gratitude for making it to our mats today. And remembering that you are enough. Bring our hands to our heart center. Take one more deep breath. I thank you all for joining me for this practice today. Until we meet again, namaste. Thank you, Ronald, Kelly, Pam, and Pam. Have a great day.